You ready?
I'm ready, dude.
This is my brother Steven.
That's my brother Eugene.
And this is our show.
And I'm Rachel.
Shut!
Rachel,
shut up.
We just need you to fact check.
Bro, real mouth on her.
Okay.
Well, before we were rudely interrupted, this is our show.
You Be Aight.
You Be Aight. This is presented by AML Media. You Be Aight. Rachel, could you please give us plugs?
Sure. So our Twitter handle is AML_media_. YouTube is the same, AML_media_. Instagram is AML MEDIA_. Or you can find all of our links on our website, which is AML.NEWS.BLOG.
Check out the site.
Yeah, site's the best way to go for pretty much all of it. And this is our second one.
Yep.
Well, kind of our third, but this is our second You Be Aight. We did a little sports one, which we cleverly named Homesick Philly Bros.
Right.
So check that out. We're going to try to keep it at a reasonable length. Do forgive us. We get all excited, and we just want to keep talking to you peoples that are listening. So to jump right on in, now we've got the plugs out of the way, which I'm glad we started having Rachel do that, because I don't like it. I'm not good at it.
No, she does an excellent job.
Yeah, and I have to really write everything out, and it's just I'm not patient enough for
If
it.
she can just learn to wait for her cue to talk.
Yeah, if she wouldn't run her mouth so goddamn much, you know, that's a joke. We do love her for everything she does for us. That was planned.
Not a joke.
Shut up. But our start off today. Figure we'll have a little debate topic. Since last time, I think we gave a good baseline of who we are, why we're doing this, and I didn't tell you what the debate topic's going to be.
No, you didn't.
Because I think you're going to have a better argument, I think, and more smart people on your side for this. So I couldn't give you time to have like good rebuttals.
Okay. Now
but
I'm excited.
The debate is books versus the movies the books are based off of.
This is so weird. Last night, I'm sitting outside smoking a cigarette, and I had just started reading Moby Dick. No bullshit. And there's this dude who comes around the side of the building, and I hear some footsteps, and I'm reading a book, so I'm not paying attention. And this guy is lurking in the shadows, kind of. And he says, hey, sorry, or something weird. You know what I mean? Like, when someone's reading a book.
Yeah, caught you off guard.
It caught me off guard, and then I'm reading the book thinking, now this is rude, but it's dark, you're in the corner, you know, and I don't want to talk, I'm in the middle of the page. Anywho, we don't say nothing for like 2.5, 3 minutes while we're smoking our cigarettes. And then, when he's done, he starts walking past me, and he says to me, you studying up on something? And I said, no, I just, apparently this is the best American novel ever written, so I want to check it out, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, they say the books are better than the movies. And I said, that's what they say.
Well, and that goes, because isn't that like a crazy long book? Isn't it like necessarily easy read?
It's not a quick read.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess, goes to show what side you're going to probably be on. And you are a reader. You enjoy reading. I have tried so many times, and it's embarrassing to really admit how many chapter books, which it's sad I call them a chapter book, I have read in my life. Like,
One.
Basically one. And then fragments of other things. Obviously, Cliff Notes were huge.
Yeah.
Anytime I had to do stuff.
Well, we all do that in school sometimes.
And a lot of book, I get references because I know enough about the book, or there's a movie made for it.
Right, I was gonna go with the latter there.
Yeah. That was always funny too. The thing of that's how the English teacher would try and get you to they're like, all right, if you guys participate for a whole month and a half while we cover this boring ass book, we can watch the movie. And it's like, we all have TVs at home. If I
Right.
want to watch this movie,
Right.
but I guess I get what you're doing. But so I'm going to just right off the bat assume that you believe that the books are always better than the movie.
Well, I think it's a nuanced kind of debate, really. But we can just say, for the sake of the podcast, that yeah. a
I
good
brought
book
up that
is
debate up specifically to kind of, we have a lot of similarities, but that is one that is completely different for us. Once again, you enjoy reading. I just don't. Everyone says, well, you just haven't found the right book. Dude, I've tried it all, and I will get interested, but it's like,
It takes discipline.
it's just a shot of tranquilizer to my face.
Yeah. Yeah, you need
It
that a
literally
lot.
like makes me crazy tired.
That's because you haven't found the right book yet.
Yeah, and I've some things that I thought people that I liked, they were like, check this out, and I'll get into it. Everything from war books to shamans doing drugs in deserts to fiction
I've
and
read a lot
fantasy.
of books like that.
Yeah,
Shamans.
Carlos Castaneda. That's
Yeah.
probably the farthest I've gotten into a book in a long time.
Not even halfway, though, right?
No, not even halfway. I was like, oh, I see where this is going. He's going to do cool, fun drugs
Right.
in the desert, and I was like, I get the gist.
That's not really the moral of the story, but yeah, that's part of it.
Enough where if I said Carlos Castaneda, the shaman guy, they'd be like, oh, so you know him? Like, yeah, I read his book, no big deal.
Well, I told you about him so you could fake it.
Yeah. So to start the debate, and Rachel, we'll get I guess right off the
Yeah,
bat,
let's get Rachel.
because you're, I think, a little bit in between. You were raised decent, so you probably, like, my mom and dad didn't, like,
nothing.
I didn't ever have anybody tell me.
Well, Rachel, why don't you give us your input?
So I have read some books. I will say I have a very bad attention span.
Yeah.
So
Common.
I've-
But your attention span's short enough where movies don't even get you either. That's why I said you're kind of good in the middle of this, because
Yeah, I mean, any movie over 2 hours, I'm checked out. I'm not even trying to pay attention.
Let me phrase the question this way, because I think you read Harry Potter books when you were younger, right?
Yeah,
And you've seen the movies.
yeah.
Did you see the movies before the books?
I think I read at least the first 2 books before the movies.
Okay, so then that's where I was saying, like, did you create? Because that's people that say reading's better because you get to create the imagery in your mind.
Yeah.
Where, like, I've never read Harry Potter, but so since I've seen the movies, if I were to read that book, I would just imagine it the way
Yeah,
it
it is
was.
weird how that works.
So, with that being said, do you think the books were better because your imagination could run with it more, or were the movies?
I would say I preferred the movies.
But is that because take out the like reading is like you gotta have some work and ethic to put into it?
No, I know, but I guess also at that time I was very young, so it's hard for me. I don't
Yeah, I was
think there's
gonna
really
say.
much recent that I've read and then watched a movie on.
If you don't read a book as an adult, you can't then come in and say books are better than movies.
Yeah, I guess trying to phrase it because she's not a reader, and neither am I. But so I will say, and this will kind of my only talking point for the debate is, I have a strong imagination. I do think that, but people get paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to have a better imagination and turn it into something that's visual and I can consume in 2 hours as opposed to 2 weeks or 2 months depending on the book.
Well, it should never take you 2 months to read a book. You know what I mean? If you're enjoying a book, a couple weeks tops.
I think Mr. Popper's Penguin, the only actual book I fully ever read, probably a couple of weeks. And that's a small chapter book.
Well, you were young. I mean, you were prepubescent, I think.
Yeah, I was in 5th grade. I almost failed simply because I just wouldn't do I just wouldn't do the book reports.
Well, you're Billy Badass, dude.
I
I don't remember having to do that many book reports.
it was like one a month.
You had a lame teacher.
But that was like all, and like you got to pick like they were easy books. I just literally would go, no, I didn't do it, and then she was like, just do one for me, and then we'll just like let you go. Because I'm not dumb. I can read and have good comprehension. Like, I just don't like this.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
did you ever have to do one of the essays where you had to pull facts from the library, or were you too young to ever have to use the books in the library?
No, I was at the age where they taught us how to do that, and I remember learning how to use microfiche. I think the like old. It's like
The card catalog,
the news, like the
automated one?
newspapers. It's like a weird projection thing
Oh,
to
right,
look
right,
at old
right.
newspapers.
No, I never used one of those.
But
They only existed.
I like learned how to use them in college. We did one time we had to go like this big old ancient library, but I didn't really.
I just wonder if that's even
Nah,
a thing.
because even by the time I was in middle school, like we had computer class, so any decent teacher, and I think we went to a pretty decent school district, they were like, why make them do this when there's more information at their
There's a
fingertips?
stronger tool at hand, yeah. So I was at the tail end of like, open the book, cite the quote with the page number, the author. You know what I mean?
Yeah, doing the not FMLA.
MLA?
Yeah, and there's a couple different ones, but
Yeah.
because I remember that was my hardest
Is it
class.
FMLA where you get out of work? or
Family
something?
medical leave. Yeah, it's,
At least it's a thing.
yeah. And I learned how to do it, like doing the bibliography and stuff. That was my hardest class. But so back to it, that's my debate. It's just like there's so much money, CGI. I know if I were to read it, like you would put your own adaptation to it.
Well,
But
let me say this. Like I said, this is a nuanced debate because movies are awesome. You know what I mean? And you can't read every book, but you can watch every movie.
and Moby Dick is a good example because never read the book, don't plan on ever reading the book, but I knew the whole story. Like I think most people in the world knows the story of Moby Dick, and so I can imagine it. And then, like I think it was like within the past year, you showed me
Part of the Sea.
the Heart of the Sea, and then I was like, well, and I know that's a kind of an adaptation. It's not. I don't think it's directly from the book, but I watched that and I was like, yeah, that's way better than I. Yeah, I was like, yeah. I mean, I guess whales are big, but I don't get this whole.
It's the white whale. It's not about being big.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know when you read the book, because that movie, that scene where they make the young kid, because he's small, get inside the whale, and they did a good job, because watching, I was like getting a little queasy in my stomach.
Oh, yeah.
So let me know if that's actually in the book, because that's cool. So I mean, it's not necessarily a debate, because
I think it's hard to debate something.
yeah,
that,
it would have to be specific of something that like we both read, or you read and I watched the movie, and I'm like, there's no way you were ever going to. Is there a book that you read and it was like book's better than the movie?
Not really, because once you read it, the experience is so much more in depth and vast that when you watch a movie, it was cool, but it's over. You know,
Like not Lord of the Rings. What's Game of Thrones?
those books are too long.
I was gonna say there's
for me,
no way,
yeah.
and if you do, I think it sometimes, because I would do the same thing. If I was like, the books are better, I read all of them. They didn't have this in there. It would just be it would be me showing off that I read these books.
Which is what a lot of people do that, I believe.
Yeah,
especially now with audiobooks. A lot of people like to say they read that and they listen
That
to
is,
it.
listen,
This is a new deal.
it's
You didn't read shit.
to even listen to an audiobook all the way through. I'll give you props, but yeah, like, oh, I read this book, and it's like, wait, where would you rent it from the library? Because I don't see it in your house anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's like becoming a common thing where people say they read something just.
Well, and I just,
Yeah,
they
audiobook.
say everyone learns differently. When I read, like a lot of people I've heard say, I'll read like 3 pages and go like, oh, dude, my eyes were just moving. It was just words were going in and then not getting put anywhere. But when I listen to something, like I can't not retain the knowledge sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't throw shade at anybody who likes audiobooks. I've listened to some audiobooks. They're great, but just don't use the term read it.
Yeah, I agree, because you don't get to play pompous if you didn't do the pompous thing.
Plus, you don't get the when you read a book, you get the vocabulary boost, right?
True.
And that's it. That's,
Like the last book I tried reading was just about this badass dude and had a terrible life, then went to World War II. Every page I had to Google a word.
I give you credit though for trying.
I did try it.
You gave it a real try.
Yeah, and it's just I think a hard read, and it was just someone who I find very interesting was like, this book's cool. And then now I'm wondering, God damn it, did he just listen to the audiobook? Because
that's what I'm saying.
Because that was hard. Because with the I get better context clues if someone says it. Like if you read me a sentence,
you'll know what the word.
I'll get a better context clue than just reading this sentence.
Yeah, I hear you, Rachel.
Excuse me. Sorry.
What's your take on the audiobook? Are you an audiobook trier?
I have tried a few audiobooks. I have a tendency to zone out a little bit. So if it's not super
That's like the third time this
captivating,
podcast you've just said, I kind of just zone out.
But I would prefer an audiobook to reading a book.
Yeah, and I'm a podcaster. I listen to so many. They're all comedy podcasts. Like there's this lady at bowling who the whole time she bowls she listens to. I see it on her screen, like murder mystery podcast in the middle of bowling.
Okay.
She's a nice lady, but a little weird. But it's like I don't see how people can get down with murder mystery podcasts.
Like the true crime podcast.
I'm sure, like
Those are big.
I've just never really was into murder mysteries. I think because Mom watched them all. I was like, God damn it, this again.
I can't not get into. Like, how can you not be interested in some crazy murders that's unsolved? What kind of person doesn't?
The second
care
you
about
tell
that?
me that it's not going to be solved, which we watched Unsolved Mysteries, so I'm wrong. But the second
Check it out on Netflix. Great
Yeah.
show.
The second you tell me it's not going to be solved, I'm just going to go. So what? I'm going to hear about a dead body, and then people will be like, "No, I think this is what happens." It bothers me to not have it wrap up at the end of it.
No, I hear you.
I don't know. I guess just murder doesn't interest me that much.
It's not about the murder as much as the people that they pull in to interview, and you're just like, especially coming from our background, it's like, wow, these folks live different.
Yeah.
Like if a cop brought you for an interview about a murder, you would lock up.
True, yeah. Even
yeah.
if I know
Yeah.
we were saying it the other day. Like they would be like, "Well, you live on that block." I'd be like, I swear to God." But so we'll move on to the next topic. I brought a couple things to the table, and Steven brought something to the table, which I'm interested to hear why this was. Old ladies wearing yoga pants.
Okay.
Did something happen? I assume.
It was more of I witnessed something today that stuck with me. Okay. So I'm driving through North Park today, and there is
A lot of yoga pants in North Park.
which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to ask Rachel, what's the difference between the yoga pant that is just blacked out, regular yoga pant, and then I guess they're cheap yoga pants and you can see through them?
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. There's definitely the ones that are like the athletic material, like the almost spandex-y type.
The thicker stuff, more like the cold weather Under Armour material, where it's like thick.
Well, all I know is there was like a mid-50s older lady, and she was decently put together. Like, she was not...
She's walking in North Park.
No, she's riding a bike.
Well, yeah, so she's moving. You know, she's trying to.
But why wear the yoga pants that you can see through?
Which...
Because you can see her thong, droopy as fuck, and
that
her husband's behind her.
And that makes me think, too,
she's
so...
trying to impress her husband.
If you're her husband, you're like...
I've told you before, like, you know, because you put on pants, and I was like, I can see the tag on your underwear when you bend over.
No.
But this is my thought. My brain goes, middle of the day, on a Thursday, she's just riding a bike in North Park, and being from around this area, and that means they have a little bit of money. Enough where she doesn't have to buy the cheap yoga pants.
So the expensive ones are see-through?
No, the cheaper ones are see-through. So I'm saying
she's wearing the cheaper ones.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if she's just in the middle of the day,
are you saying she should buy the better ones?
Yeah, because
I don't think she knows.
An older lady, I I see it as she wanted a pair of yoga pants. She was at Walmart or Target or wherever, wherever
But that's
you can get normal clothes.
I don't think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I'm saying I think they have some money. Like they enough where she doesn't have to buy the cheap Walmart pants.
Yeah,
she
but
can
maybe
buy
she
the
wants
LuLaRoes.
to. She doesn't want that fancy shit.
So you're saying what I'm saying, which is she has no idea you can see through those pants, probably.
Yeah, she just wanted yoga pants. She saw a pair of yoga pants when she was out shopping and picked them up and
Slapped them on.
I don't think she doesn't not know. There's no way.
An older lady.
He's
lady,
saying
really.
40s, 50s, not 70 where she's like, yoga pants are new to
but
me.
yeah, somebody in
She
their
got to think
50s,
all through this 80s and 90s, this lady. Like, tights aren't just a new thing.
Not today's yoga pants and leggings.
Right, I'm saying for any age woman, do you really want everyone to be able to see your thong? And I'm telling you, it was like very
I need to
see-through.
correct Rachel on this. Are you saying that tights and yoga pants and stuff were used before
No,
the mid-aughts?
I'm saying like
If this
as
lady,
they exist today.
Yeah, with these modern materials.
there is still different types of spandex back. We need someone older because someone in the 70s is going, what is she talking
Well,
about?
how do you know about pants in the 70s?
From
The-
movies.
The $3.
So back to
tights-
the debate.
Dude,
the
tights-
$3 Forever 21 leggings did not exist 10 years. Well, maybe 10 years, but 20 years ago.
Okay, so then that's 20 years of knowledge. This lady's been shopping and wearing pants that
Yeah,
whole
but
time.
probably not at Forever 21.
I just don't see that because she's old. She's like, I don't know that these are see-through.
I'm not. Her droopy ass thong is clearly visible. Her ass, her thighs, clearly visible. It was almost like stockings. I'm not bullshit.
I know.
Rachel knows what I'm talking about.
I
There's some
know
cheap ones.
exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, I don't really.
Were they black?
Yeah.
Was sweat maybe the possible cause of the
No.
see-through?
No.
Okay. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about because Rachel has put the cheap ones on, and I go, you probably should.
I think we're getting too deep
And
into it.
I will say
That's
that.
a good debate. This is a better debate than the books because I don't think she's like aware of it in the sense of like I kind of want to be sexy or do this for attention. I just think, what was it, a thong?
Dude, yes.
Like not like it didn't cover butt cheek.
No, and the triangle at the top was droopy under her pants.
I
And again, there was a man with her riding behind her, and I'm way further away than this guy is. If that's her husband, any woman of any age, sweetheart, I could see your whole ass and undies. And I really don't think you want to go out in public like this. Now, maybe I'm a prude.
And here's my
But do
thing
you
too.
want-
Also, they're in the middle of exercising. We could be somewhere and be like, Gene, dude, that shirt. Like, if we're going out and working out, and all of a sudden this shirt becomes a problem, and I'm trying to fucking get a workout, I'd be like, dude, I don't care if my dick's hanging out in the midst of working out.
Yes, you do. But I know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, because it would be a penis at the time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, good question because we'll never know. That's
The only thing that tells me that she wasn't just innocently existing and didn't know that anything was showing is the fact that she was wearing a thong.
Yes, that was another topic I was
So
going over in my head.
I was going to ask Rachel for riding a bike. I would think you'd want like kind of more of like normal underwear.
I like that she had a thong on.
No,
think
yeah,
that's
I mean
great.
she's trying to. I mean, obviously she's working to keep herself good, and you know, women wear that. Like that's they're doing that to like feel good about themselves, make themselves feel sexy.
Yeah, I guess it was the underwear. If she just didn't have any underwear on, you would still clearly see her ass. But the droopy thong really just was a bad look.
Well, I'll put it. I mean,
And I'm the kind of guy who wants to know if I got a bad look.
Like, was she maybe just biking for too long? that
well, the
her
droopiness of
pants
the. I
were-
bet when she put that thong on, it wasn't droopy. Riding a bike, the shit's gonna move around.
Yeah, that's true.
So and
I
I
guess
imagine.
that wouldn't be my choice of underwear.
That's I cut my own self off. You would go with normal kind of.
Yeah, I would think a thong would be. Not.
Or does a thong? You're thinking, hey, once it's in between my butt, like it starts in my butt cheeks, so it's going to stay there and not move around as much.
I could see that, but I also would think that it would cause potentially more, I guess, chafing is the right word. I would, I don't know. I guess it could go either way. Might be personal preference there.
I'm going to end it by saying, good for you, old lady. Whether you didn't know or you did know, you're out there exercising in November, trying to keep it tight for the husband. And maybe he was back there like, I'm going to get that later.
That's possible.
Maybe. Here, I got a new theory. Maybe she's like, your beer guts to her husband saying, like, you're getting fat and I can't stand to look at you.
That's possible.
So
yeah.
come chase this. Because you're not going to get anything, you're not going to get any other tail. So maybe if I give you a little, dangle the carrot in front of the horse, maybe.
Yeah, I mean.
Don't get any ideas.
That was devious, but maybe that is her angle.
Hey, man, you know what? That right there, I would be like, that's a love story that needs to be put out
He's
there.
behind her, like, hugging him up and like, anything for you, honey. Anything for you.
She's like, I'll let you, like, have some of this if you do one lap. And he's out there like, I bought these bikes for a reason.
Fix the garbage disposal.
Yeah. Quick story. I feel bad. Now, this is probably 3-4 years ago. But I was driving home one day, and I seen in the neighborhood a heavy set dude. Like, and he's out for a walk, and he's got on, like, I could tell, like he put on, I imagine he doesn't wear it all the time, but put on gym shorts. Like, he wanted to go get a sweat. And I said, I rolled down my window while driving by, and I said, keep it up, man. And I'm pretty sure I don't think he took it as a positive thing.
I would think you were making fun of me.
And I felt like, and it wasn't until a couple minutes later, I was like, I'm about to go back out there and find that guy and be like, I was actually...
Yeah, he's going to quit now and never...
Yeah, I was like, bro, I'll take my shirt off and walk around if that'll make you feel bad. I feel bad.
I think that all the time, though. Like, I'll see somebody who's really trying to get it in, and is obviously struggling, and I want to say out the window, like, keep it up.
Not everyone's assholes. Like, dude, keep fucking,
Yeah, you're going to... and Rachel just said, you would assume the fucking
I learned the hard... Yeah, because I don't...
Anybody yelling something out their car window to me, I'm going to think they're being an asshole.
Right. It's kind of like the thing where you hear somebody laughing, and you kind of think, are they laughing at me?
Like, you could have a bumper sticker that says, like, I support anyone who works out. Keep it up. Positivity's awesome. I could be out walking and that dude go, hey man, awesome. I'm proud of you. You probably have family members proud of you. And he'd drive away. I'd see those bumper stickers and I'd be like, that motherfuckers. This is all a big joke to him, isn't it?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. On a side note, if you rock bumper stickers and you think they're cool, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not cool.
Especially like actually bumper stickers, because
all of them.
They don't come off.
Get rid of them. I don't like the bumper
stickers.
You got a car. It's a nice car. You just paid money for it. You're gonna slap a fucking Bernie Sanders, and I don't even have a problem with Bernie Sanders.
Especially when you see someone who's got they're driving a nice car, like a Mercedes, and it's like, bro, you put a Trump bumper sticker on there? Like,
with social media now, do you really need to use your car to express yourself?
Now,
use the internet.
And if it's the one exception, which I don't think this is even a bumper sticker, but if you have a sports team, the magnet, I've always rocked one of those.
That's not a bumper sticker.
Yeah, okay.
That's different. That's just an emblem. That's fine. If you got some fucking message that you want to get out to people, don't put it on your vehicle. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's reminding me of how embarrassingly long it took me to realize I seen coexist bumper stickers for years and had no idea. I was like, what is... I just didn't even ask what this was until someone kind of pointed out. I was like, oh, it's all the religions. I get it now. I mean, probably 5, 6, 7 years.
How many people do you think have that bumper sticker and don't know that? They just have it because people have it. I promise you.
Yeah, I've 100%.
Same thing with Salt Life. When did that become trendy? If you're a girl, you have Salt Life on your car now. And I've also seen Catitude. Have you seen the Catitudes?
I had for when in high school, I went to get a car, like use some of my graduation money, and I remember I had that Xterra for like a week, but it kept. Then I traded it in. It just stopped. It wouldn't fucking run. Every time I go to start it, something was messed up with it. So Dad got all pissed off. We took it back and ended up getting a nicer car because the guy was like afraid. And we ended up. That's when I got the Escape. But I think I had it for 2 weeks. it had a Roxy sticker, that surfer girl. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they even have made ever one male piece of clothing.
No, it's named
And I had that
Roxy.
sticker, and I was just like, that's not that bad. And I just let it ride. And
Well, that's also, I was going to say, if you ever plan on selling your vehicle,
yeah, true.
like, I don't know.
And this was like a side window, pretty big one. Like, it was about this big.
Mhm.
And
Well, I think the same thing about, like, the decal stickers on your windows with, like, the little kid pissing on Ford.
oh yeah,
Like, just give me a fucking break, man. Do you just want high fives from other rednecks?
But yeah, what's the only one? And I have thought about getting
Make a friend.
I've thought about getting the American flag on the back windows
Don't do that.
of my truck. No, I
Stop trying to express yourself, people. Just
yeah.
keep it to yourself, tuck it deep down in, and don't share it with anybody.
And don't put things on your antenna. I don't know why I hate that so much.
Or the spokes are the
Chromies and stuff that you put on there.
Your inner tube
Yeah,
plug.
unless you got really nice wheels and it's like,
Still.
yeah, just let it.
It's got to be real fucking cool for me to not be like, I had that on my bike with pegs.
Yeah, a big 8-ball
Yeah,
on
I literally
there,
had that.
or a skull. Yeah, I remember that shit was. You were cool, and then people would always steal them. I used to steal chromies off cars all the time.
Yeah, well, you would tell me Rolls Royce now puts their
That
hood
sweet
ornament.
emblem. It's like I think it's a lady like this in a dress, and it's like flowing. I believe is what it is. But yeah, they make it now where it like when you turn the car off, it goes inside the hood because you steal that. Who knows? That emblem could be $10,000 to replace on a car like a Rolls Royce. They're just making prices to make it cool.
Right.
You want a poop story or my sleep apnea results?
Well, I think we should talk about current events. So let's go with the sleep apnea. We have a lifetime to talk about poop.
And I had two stories for you to pick from that I can make pretty quick. But so if you can't tell by looking at me, I die in my sleep apparently a lot.
85 times an hour.
Oh, it's great. It's crazy. The numbers. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. So there's no one out there that doesn't know what sleep apnea is. I figured I had it. I snore in my sleep, and I just always wake up tired. And I just dealt with it for a long time. I've always loved sleeping. Like even when I was in shape, I could still sleep 12 hours because it's my meditating. That's when I'm at peace. I have really sweet, vivid dreams. I like sleeping a lot. But it gets annoying when I will sleep a long time and then be so tired. And turns out, when sleeping should be healing you,
Fucking you up.
yeah, sleeping is doing damage to me.
Which is like the opposite of living. I think you're dying. Your sleep is killing you. I mean,
And I didn't realize
You
how
got all
much,
the babes.
and it makes sense when you really think about it. So, something crazy, I think it was 85 times an hour, I get I think the word was disruptive.
It's a respiratory event.
Yes.
okay.
So, it's along the lines of me sleeping, about every 45 seconds I go,
It's
Right.
your breathing passage like collapsing.
yeah, and it is genetics, but also being fat doesn't help. And then how much I move in my sleep, it's actually cool. I think you should be like just elected to get a sleep study because it's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Because I sleep on my right side 18 times, and this was about a 7 to 8 hour study. I think it was like 8 hours, we'll call it. I sleep on my right side 18 times. I sleep on my... now I'm forgetting the number. I sleep on my left side, did I say 137 times? I move over 600 times in my sleep.
Yeah.
Because I sleep in like kind of 4 positions, and it's just from kind of rolling to the right on my stomach, then the other way on my stomach, and then on the side. But yeah, and then I sleep on my stomach over 350 times, I believe was the number.
Well, all I know is I've seen you take a nap on like a couch, and it's like, yo.
And I move violently too, because like it's not like a quick roll. It's like a fucking
of the crazy things too is that so any oxygen level under 90 for anybody is really dangerous anytime. So
I got a whopping 70 average when I sleep.
No, it wasn't an average, but it went down to 70.
Oh, yeah.
Just the fact that it went down to 70 at any point, like even just to dip below 90 is bad.
So
It went to 70.
glad I did it.
Yeah, 70's like you gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saturation's like,
And it's so weird because your body does so many different things to protect itself. So like first thing is like you kind of breathe shallow because your lungs aren't fully expanding. 2, then sleep apnea makes you pee more because your body, which he explained it, and I don't necessarily know why, but your body goes, all right, evacuate all liquids. So then you had to pee more when you're sleeping, which I only wake up once, and it's usually in the morning to pee.
No. You pee like 4 times during the night.
there you have it.
So also another thing that's been happening, I get crazy fucking, I've been like having sleep conversations and shit. Yelling at Rachel.
Yeah, that's been really fun.
Yeah, I come in, just start saying, you fucking bitch.
Likes to call me a fucking bitch.
Yeah, the one night I was like, fucking, you're beat,
No,
dude.
yeah, you can say that.
Like,
You do.
I just kept saying, you fucking beat, dude. And she tells me in the morning, I was like, haha, and then she's like, no, for real, and I was like, I remember going to bed, and then that means in my sleep, I'm so, I guess, under stress where I'm just like, I'm gonna yell at somebody. But then I've had full conversations where I, like, will laugh.
Yeah, I've heard partners say that about me though, that I giggle and shit and swoon like.
That's creepy.
I've woken.
Shut up, Rachel. No, it's
I
not.
have woken myself up going, why am I laughing? And that is your brain going, dude, something's wrong here.
So let's hope this sleep apnea
Yeah.
kit.
Other funny thing about it is the doctor's a nice guy. It was a Zoom call. If anyone out there is having problems, listen, I hate going to the doctors because they're just, every time they're just like, yeah, you're fat. And I was like, oh, yeah, but can you help maybe? And they're like, yeah, but lose weight and then maybe.
Right.
So I don't like going to the doctors. They send you this thing. It looks like an octopus with a bunch of cords you tape to yourself. Send that information in, and then you have a Zoom meeting with the doctor, and then he tells you you're dying in your sleep a lot, and then they just like give you recommendations, and then like there's follow-ups to like fine-tune the machine. But the doctor was funny because nice guy, obviously like skinny and athletic, because I'm sure he sleeps great. The way I wanted to tell, like up front, I was like, obviously I'm overweight. We're on a Zoom call. It's just this, but that was a giveaway. And the way he would say things, I know he would just want to be like, yeah, because you're really heavy, it's this. So he would put things, I'd see his brain work, and he'd be like, so you know like when you bench press, more weight is harder? Well, when it's less weight, which we want to do for your chest, so think of you having bench pressing a lot more weight than you should have. I'm like, all right, yeah, I think
he was trying to explain that, like,
no.
your chest
But he
was
was-
lifting a lot of weight to breathe.
But he was enjoying every word. Trust me, he's a human being. There was part of him that was like, I'm in good shape. You're not. I promise you.
It's
That's
just the fact
how
that
it works.
Yeah, I mean, because he could just say like, "Hey, man, you carry a lot of weight on your chest. You're obese, so it's harder for you to breathe." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I kind of figured that." But regardless, nice guy. The only other thing that's lame is the CPAP machine's not even good enough for me.
Yeah, tell the people about, because I didn't know that there was a second level
Yeah,
of
so-
being masked.
If you are a high danger of sleep problems, a CPAP machine is just a constant pressure. And so what happens is my fat neck closes up and doesn't even let the pressure go down, basically. So what happens is the air just kind of shoots out of my mouth a lot of times. The BiPAP...
The visuals are hilarious.
The BiPAP, it's not constant pressure, basically. It learns how you're breathing, it adjusts itself, and so, like, when I breathe out, it stops pushing. So...
From what I understand, too, the CPAP is simply for people who have obstructive sleep apnea where just your passageway closes. BiPAP also covers when you're having lessened lung function as well, so it keeps your
People, this is
lungs
a serious thing.
going more.
Well, so that's another thing. And the way he put a lot of things that get affected, and it makes sense. Memory obviously makes sense, like you don't retain knowledge. He literally was like, if you ever feel tired, dude, he thought it was bad enough. He's like, if you ever feel tired behind the wheel, please pull over and sleep for 15 minutes. And I was like, okay. But he was like, it's higher chance for dementia when you get older. Heart problems. He said it's very rare, but there's that heart attack they call the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
That like it just happens, and he's like, you are a higher risk for this one thing that kills you immediately in your sleep. I was like, whoa, holy shit.
Seriously though, this is it's funny, but reduced lung function, heart attack, instant death.
Yeah, and then
I mean, what the fuck?
But the way he started it out, which I was like, excuse me, because a lot of things can be affected. It's more stress on your heart. It can have erectile dysfunction problems, and I was like, why are we starting there? Like,
it must be pretty common.
Maybe he thinks that that would be the scare point, but like, no, my wiener's not going to work good.
No, it's that I'm dying.
Yeah, I was like, no, that's cool. You take my dick if I just don't have to die in my sleep.
Although you say you want to go out like that.
I do say I want to go not at 30, but I mean,
that would.
And I think I've just heard people say that, because I definitely don't want to like be sitting there and then be in agony for like 9 hours and then die. Like, if you just go in your sleep, I have really awesome dreams.
We'll have to discuss that on another pod. Die in your sleep, die awake.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with the dying
Do
in your
you
sleep.
have scary dreams when you're dying, though?
You know, it's a roll the dice.
Yeah, and I have a whole theory on that. So we'll talk about that.
Okay, so I just wanted to say real quick that Jalen Hurts, the Eagles quarterback, is on the new Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey podcast, and I'm in love with Jalen Hurts. I know this isn't a sports podcast. If you have something else you want to talk about, let's talk about it, but just everybody.
I only seen a clip, but he's like, you're seeing him give a little personality.
Way more than you get anywhere else.
And I didn't know he was almost going to go to the Steelers. Or he thought he was going to go there.
Yeah.
God, I would move out of this fucking city if the Steelers went from Ben Roethlisberger and then got Jalen Hurts and started doing awesome. I'm like, dude, because then we would have ended up with like some random that would suck immediately and never be good.
Or like another Wentz, just a bitch, Carson.
Well, then maybe we'll talk about this real quick, because that kind of goes into it. Sports, I think, is different because I think it's easier to meet a sports hero. Because there's meet and greets for them. You go to games. If you get an up close seat, there's a chance you can like at least give a high five.
It's still pretty hard.
Yeah. Just, I guess anybody in popular, like a famous person, a hero of yours, who's like your top 1, 2, and 3-ish, or just if you want to give a couple, and how do you think you would react? Because I'll start. Have you ever met someone really famous?
No.
And like got to talk to them?
No, but I've never tried to either.
Yeah.
That's just not my thing.
They say never meet your heroes, but
Most of my heroes are dead, dude, because I grew up in the 90s was like my formative years, and heroin and music were like, married at the hip.
well, who's
Shannon Hoon, okay,
Who's
Kurt
this-
Cobain,
the singer you really like?
Lane Staley.
Oh, but no, who's alive still? Audio Slave.
He's dead too, Chris
Yeah.
Cornell.
Yeah, he is dead.
But everybody should invest time in his library. Chris Cornell was amazing.
Yeah.
Lyrics-
Zach De La Roche is still alive, and we talked about it a little. You didn't seem like you would be happy to meet him. You'd be.
No, I'd be pissed off. Rage Against the Machine is like. I mean, I listen to Rage Against the Machine every other day, pretty much, and he destroyed the band. He wanted out.
Then I'll give you one of mine that we just both talked. Jason Kelsey. Say
Sports hero.
say you're standing in line at the bank and you turn around and Jason Kelsey's behind you. Do you get starstruck to like point where like you're nervous to even say hi to him?
I think there's a just knowing myself, I think there's a chance that I don't say anything.
I do too, just because like when I hear famous people talk about other famous people, like lower famous people talk about high, they go like it's just uncool.
Awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, like these guys get that all the time.
Yeah, it would be terrible after a while.
But
Especially like a grown man.
like a Jason
groveling.
Kelsey, I mean, I think what I would, if I would either starstruck and be like, I don't even know why I'm here anymore, and just leave, and then go sit in my car and be like, fuck, I meant to turn that check in. But I think with him, I might just be like, dude, go Birds, I love you.
Yeah.
I might say I love
Which,
you to the
he
mind.
seems like the kind of guy who would respond well to that. But Rachel.
I do have thoughts as far as you're never gonna give that person a really good like memory. So no matter what, it's always this kind of like, oh, I have to talk to this
Yeah.
person. For
What
you,
about-
it's, you know, for me, it's cool. But for that person, like you're almost
Can I give you a scenario
bothersome. Yeah.
of someone who I think you're working at the store, Eco Thrift sponsorship, sponsor the
Check it out.
show, help save the world, help save yourself money. You're working at the store on Saturday, and Chris Pratt walks in, and let's say Chris Pratt from like before Guardians of the Galaxy, when he still was a little pudgy, and you loved him. You still love him, but
Yeah.
That's different because he's coming to your store.
Yeah.
but that's why I
and
put it in a
part of-
scenario where at least you have a little bit of power, where it's not just yelling at someone at a restaurant. He walks in, he goes, "Oh, you the owner here? What do you do?"
Yeah, part of me feels like I might not acknowledge it
Right.
and just be like, "Hi, you know, let me
Right.
know if you need any help with anything," and then hope that he bought something. But then then later when he came up to the register, maybe I would say something. But thinking about it in the sense of me running the store and the store's social media and everything, I would like absolutely try to post that on the store's
Right. Wow.
page.
It's a good
And
See, because that would piss him off.
but he came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, no, I'm saying,
He would never see it. Let's be honest.
well, once the show gets big enough.
But no, I wouldn't just take a picture of him in the store.
No, but I'm
like-
saying like, if and I've heard them say this before, same way with like a lot of professional athletes don't like to sign adult stuff, is because like they don't want you making money just from like off of them.
Yeah, but just the fact he's
'Cause-
in the store, I mean, I'm not selling like the floor that he walked on, you know.
Right.
I just think, you know.
I
people
know
like
Chris
to
Pratt,
do,
and he wouldn't like it.
People like to do stuff like that. Like,
Nah, yeah,
this
he
is
actually
a
probably
totally,
would.
totally
Especially in a
different,
small business.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a totally different like level of famous person. But we had like a band come into the store, and they wanted to post a picture too because they were like, we can both, you know,
Right.
cross
Let's-
post these and advertise for each other.
Let's
Obviously,
promote
Chris
each other.
Pratt doesn't need Eco Thrift to share him, but you know.
Yeah, it's really an impossible question to ask unless you're put on.
Because
that
I've
spot.
never.
No.
Closest I've been is when I did security, and I was like 5 feet away from. Actually, no, I was 5 feet away from Big Ben that time.
And holy nada.
I was almost. I was in punching distance of Justin Bieber. Doing security at a football game, and not that I would punch Justin Bieber,
Bieber.
but Bieber. When it was happening, I go, dude, I'd probably go on the Howard Stern show if I punched Justin Bieber. People would want to talk to me. I would go to jail for a little bit, but you know what it was is he did the halftime performance or something, and then left at halftime.
Okay.
So he was in like the sweet boxes, and he was like, "I'm too cool for this," and I was like, "I would love to be up there."
Yeah. Yeah.
Another point of that is, like we kind of touched on, it is different of the type of famous person you meet, because meeting like a Hollywood actor, I think is that would be the most starstruck I would get.
Like Denzel or something like that.
Yeah, I love Denzel. But him, just because he plays cool characters, I think he might be cool enough where I was like, hey man, I just wanted to say hi, and if I could shake your hand, I'd be honored.
Well, the truth is, you never know what these people are really like behind closed doors. And honestly, Denzel's been approached and has someone say something to him like that. a million times, literally, possibly, there's no way it doesn't get old.
And I just know that...
And like Rachel said, he would be like, you'd be out of his mind immediately, and you're like...
Because I wouldn't want to
too grown.
I hate pictures of myself, so I would never... This, I think, is the thing that
That
pisses
would-
them off the most.
Yeah, especially like a grown man with another grown man, like, can I get a picture? Get the
And I know... I've never approached someone when they're eating.
embarrassing.
I think too, yeah, the scenario really, like if you're in a situation where you are, I don't know, not that a famous person would be just sitting on a random bus, but like if you're seated next to them on somewhere that you have to sit for a long period of time, like on a train or something like that,
Then you have to say something.
then you can
That's-
talk to them, you can have a conversation. You're not just like, hi, my name is Rachel. Okay, bye.
That's
Like,
that's why I tried to give this scenario of like standing in line in a bank, or like here's one that could possibly happen. Like you know when you go bowling, the people next to you, you're so close, like you have to kind of be in each other's space. Like it's really awkward if you never say anything to somebody. So like, say we go bowling one night and I don't know, Louis C.K.'s there bowling.
That would be fucking
I would. He probably would hate me because I'd be like, I gotta ask you a lot of questions because I love you so much. And he'd be the type of person like, all right, well, I guess I'm leaving bowling.
Yeah,
Thanks
this
for the
guy just
experience.
ruined my
I
night.
feel like that might be one of the worst situations to be because you're trying, like Louis trying to bowl with his friends and hang out, and like he can't get away from.
I would just be.
Gene.
I would be like,
That sweaty red guy, like,
I would not even be bowling. I'd be like, Steven, you can bowl for me. I gotta look for my opening the whole time.
you probably like, I gotta
Just
poop. I'm
pacing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to poop at a bowling alley a couple times. If
And
that,
then Louis would come talk to Steven and I, and Gene would be in the bathroom.
oh my god, that's like one of those things I could not.
I like walk out there with his phone number and shit.
He specifically asked that you never contact.
It was
him.
something like once you went away, he really opened up to us. Him
Turned
and
out-
Rachel are besties now.
Turned out he don't like fat people, so you know. But I don't know why I put this down, but I just put a list of my heroes.
Well, right.
Jason Kelsey, and these two are gonna make fun of me. Shane Gillis,
Yeah, he's
I-
too young for you to be your hero. You're
not
the
hero.
same.
It's just I found him very early on, and then now he's blowing up. And I was like, I told everyone this guy's awesome. Shane, and he's also a PA guy,
That's true.
and like when he talks about things, I can relate.
I think it's just that hero is a strong word. You know what I mean?
Favorite people to watch, entertain, things like that. Louis C.K., Big J. Okerson, Bob Kelly, Nate Bargatze, Joe Rogan, and Tom Segura. Obviously, it's all comedians.
This guy's got a lot of heroes. It's a little embarrassing how many
Hey,
heroes
man, you
have.
know what?
And it seems to be a theme with them as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's just a list of like. the
Tom
top-
Bargatze is a hero.
No, Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze,
Nate
Tom Segura.
Bargatze.
Sorry.
But
He
well,
combined
there's,
the two.
Guys, nobody
there's
knows
so many.
about.
Here's the thing. Well, I started listening to sports people, and I just went, I wanted to be a professional sports athlete, and I know that dream's never going to happen. So then I was like, maybe if I really worked, I could get into comedy. And I am one of the attainable heroes
I got
because
you.
I can't. Lane Johnson. Well, I wish I could be him,
Yeah, right.
and I could never be him.
right, right. No, I hear you. I really, when I think about it, all my heroes,
Heroes is a
yeah,
strong word.
they're
You're
mostly
right.
dead or were dead way before I was ever born. It's hard to look at a contemporary person that's like 10, 20 years within my age, and now that I'm adult, I know they're a person, so I don't picture them like as anything other than a famous person who fucks and farts
And
and,
that-
gets skid marks.
And that's a weird
And-
time that just happened to me about 5 years ago, and it's for you now probably 12 to 15 years ago, being the same age as an NFL player, and then going, dude, I'm older than like people who retire in the NFL.
Yeah, I got used to that about 5 years ago, dude.
I mean, in
It is weird.
10th grade, I go, I'm not even going to get a Division I scholarship, so I can let the dream go, and it doesn't hurt because I wasn't. Although, of course, you ruined my day a little bit today.
We'll talk about it. That's what we're here to do, is talk about it.
I'm at work, everything's going fine, and then you text me. There's a professional offensive lineman that is 6'1", 275 pounds.
Yeah.
And so my thing always was like, I was never going to be a running back.
Now you know, dude.
So I could have worked hard enough.
6'1", 275 NFL contract. And apparently he's good. I think he plays for the Titans. I don't know his name. But just those stats right there, 6'1", 275. I was that, well, not 6'1". They would list me as 6'1", probably 6 foot.
So,
That's what I'm thinking. He's probably 6 foot, 270. You know they always bump you up a few.
because like when I love golf. When I look at professional golfers, I go, well, I just didn't have someone who taught me golf when I was 4,
Right.
and that's I think what it takes.
Or just a lot.
Like,
of
you gotta
golfing.
do-
I took golf that much. You can't be good at golf, even if you're naturally gifted at it. I believe you can't be a good golfer or a great golfer unless you're golfing all the time. You know what I mean? And that's just not realistic for most people.
Yeah, and I love golf, but also how they have the nerves to do that. Once again, you just have to play it forever, all of the time.
Yeah.
And basketball, I knew I was never going to be 7 foot,
Definitely not.
and I just was never good at basketball. It's fun as shit to play. Baseball, I broke my arm 2 years in a row, so I couldn't play baseball. And then I found lacrosse, and then I got kind of good at it, and I go, oh, well, there's like not even, like there's professional lacrosse, but all those dudes have to also work 2 other jobs.
It's not an option.
So then in football, I was like, all right, I'm big. I can be tough. I fucking love it. And then I realized I'm never going to be 6'5".
Right. When happened, the league's changing. I couldn't believe that either. And it did hurt a little bit.
He must be like really good at pulling, like kind of like a Jason Kelsey-esque of like,
Yeah,
or
he's
that,
a
or
finesse lineman who gets second level.
and probably can squat 900 pounds.
Yeah, probably. But nevertheless, I don't think that guy existed just 10 years
Well,
ago, 5 years
He
ago
existed
in the pros.
40 to 30 years ago, and then there was just all prodigy-esque superhero
freak
people.
athletes.
And then, I mean, good. Keep repping it. I'm
Good for you.
going to find this guy and buy his jersey, because I don't care if he's on the practice squad, which I don't even know who he is.
Maybe we'll have him on the pod.
Yeah. First, I just hate him the whole time. Like, must be fun, huh?
Cool, man.
Yeah, well, let me guess. Your parents are a lawyer or something?
That is neat.
That's about it. I think we're close to an hour. Do you want a quick pooping story?
Sure.
This one's quick and not as grotesque. Do you want me working, having to lay on the floor? Or do you want the elementary fart, pooping a
so
big
hard
fart?
to pick from this story. Pooping a fart, did you say? Because I don't know what that is. So
Okay,
tell that one. How do you poop
And this
a
one I
fart?
think is quicker. So, you know in elementary school, which I think most are set up, there's a bathroom in the classroom because, like, you're little kids, so, like, sometimes they need help, I think, but also you don't want kids just wandering around. So, of course, having stomach problems. And it starts early. I think because having an older brother, like, because, like, in high school, I pooped all the time. I didn't care. I thought it was funny. My buddies thought it was funny. Middle school, you're like, I don't want anyone to know I even have pooped once in my life. Because you just, you're embarrassed about it. Elementary school, you'd think I'd be like, this is just what happens. But I was, like, I'm trying to hide it. In class, my stomach is going nuts. And I'd say this is 3rd or 4th grade. And raise my hand. May I go to the bathroom? Teacher says, in 5 minutes you can, like, finishing up a lesson. And I'm like, this is a problem.
It's emergency.
So I sprint to it, and just classrooms being wide open. The whole thing in elementary is just like, they're just teaching kids just stop talking. You just be quiet,
Yeah.
So I go to the bathroom, everyone's still in the bathroom, I can hear the teacher talking about whatever, and I go in there, rip my pants down, thinking I'm about to do, like, a terrible poop. Well, I think it almost lifted me off the seat. I farted so hard, it was just a giant gas bubble. And I think everyone knows when you fart in a toilet, the echo makes it louder. You'd think
that
you
bowl.
sitting on top of it would muffle noise. I farted so freaking loud, it hurt my butthole. I remember going, like, I think I might have said ow verbally.
You probably did. That sounds like definitely something.
And then you hear a bunch of little kids laughing their ass off. And I probably had a crush or something on a girl or whatever. And then I have to wash my hands, go out into a sea of everyone knows what just happened.
Yeah.
And even my teacher, I heard her try and quiet the kids down. And I mean, that's the gist of the story. I just sat there red-faced, embarrassed. It stuck with me this long. It was terrible. So that is, that's pooping a big fart for you.
Pooping a big fart.
No turd.
It makes sense now because I didn't. Now I know. Pooping a fart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embarrassment.
I feel like a lot of women poop farts because they go to the bathroom
To fart.
specifically to fart.
See, these are gems. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that.
And also women.
Did you know what he meant when he said I poop a fart before the story? Because I didn't.
At initial hearing it, no, but if you gave me long enough to think about it, I think I.
So now we know Rachel farts in the bathroom a lot. But that's good. I mean, that's what a lady should do.
Well, and that's.
Well, actually, I don't fart.
How do you muffle them?
I actually don't fart.
Okay, Rachel doesn't fart. Yeah, Rachel doesn't fart.
One of the funniest Family Guy scenes ever is him trying to cover farts over thunder. You see the lightning, and then 3 seconds later he farts perfectly. But the one time the thunder doesn't come for another few seconds, so he lips up and just rips a big one in like a PTO meeting or something. And also, ladies, when you run the sink for like 15 minutes, we know what's going on in there.
I didn't. I thought they were just cleaning.
If a lady has to clean something that long, then I'm like, well, something's wrong. You probably should have got a shower.
Maybe they're cleaning up after you.
Maybe. But I'm going to think next time I hear the sink running, I'm going to investigate. This is, I didn't think about that angle before.
And that's a big part in a relationship. For men, I think it happens pretty early of like, I shit, so get used to it. When you get to the point where like, and even now, me and Rachel being together forever, I'll be like, you pooped. Nah. And I was like, you pooped.
That's better than the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
You rather that than her being like, I just took a duke.
Which we have. I mean, we know people that are kind of like that. Or just, you know, and I get it to be like if you do something disgusting, to like try to just own it and make it funny across like, you know, your husband's boy, you know, they're friends, but just be a lady about it.
Just try. Yeah. But you know, it takes all types of people. So gross hookers that talk about their poops and their farts, we love you too.
Dude, shout out to the bonfire. They were talking to this porn star. She's pretty. She's hot. She was on, I think Teen Mom, that show. And then she got in the news because she was selling her poop and farts in a jar. And then he asked, so how much do you charge for something like that? And she go, and what do you think the lowest amount it would cost? This is a famous girl who you know has done this. So what do you think she charges?
For a fart?
To poop in front of you into a bucket.
I have no idea.
She's famous and hot. She's a beautiful
$2,000.
woman. Huh?
$2,000.
Nope. Lower.
Lower.
I was gonna say $1,000.
She poops in front of you, physically in front of you?
It comes to, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to go to her. I don't know the whole schematics of it.
Well,
but
that changes everything. But how low? How low could it?
$500.
Wow.
And this is a famous person.
In person or on camera?
In person. In a bucket.
And do they get to keep the poop?
Good question, actually. I didn't think about it because I was in awe.
That's so degrading. I mean, $500 a bargain. What's her name? Look her up.
Oh, shit.
There's a bunch of articles on her because she's the one who got sick from trying to fart too many times, right?
I don't know if it was the same girl.
Okay.
Did you know that story?
Reverse farting?
No, she was selling her farts in
Another
a jar.
famous girl, like kind of the same story. Like I don't know if she was a teen mom, but like she was famous and then like got out of the zeitgeist or whatever, the public eye, and was doing like I think got into a little bit of porn, but then started making a shit ton of money selling panties that she farted in and then farting in a jar and mailing it out. And then to keep up with, so this is
how much this kind of shit irks me.
It should.
fucking get mad. Like,
You know how much money I could make if someone wanted my poop?
apparently there's a world full of people who do want your poop, dude.
Yeah, you actually can sell your poop like for medical research. You just have to be able to collect
I don't want to
it.
find out what's wrong with me. That's the problem. I'll give it to a creep, but
If
I
I'm
don't.
selling my poop, I want someone to do something sexy. Okay? No doctors. You don't, you know.
But anyway, she went to the hospital thinking she was having a heart attack. Turns out she was just eating a bunch of foods that she thought made her fart because she was so on demand for farts in a jar, she couldn't keep up naturally.
This woman is an idiot.
She made a lot of money doing it.
Well, I think I'm in a bad mood now, so we should just do the
Alrighty.
plugs. This
Rachel, give us the plugs one more time.
Okay, Twitter is AML_media_. YouTube is the same. And then Instagram is a little bit different, AML MEDIA_. Our website will give you links to everything directly, AML.NEWS.BLOG.
And if you
Thank you,
enjoy it, Rachel, is there a way on the website for people to like comment, or because they can contact us, right?
So on the website, they can contact us or they can sign up for a mailing list. They can make comments on YouTube directly on the videos if they have any feedback.
Yeah, that's my point. If there's
Just
something you want to see,
make fun of
Or
us, whatever
tweet,
you want.
Tweet to us, put a comment on our Instagram, send us a DM on Instagram or Twitter.
You can do whatever you
and by the time this is out, there should be a You Be Aight podcast out there, our first one. And then obviously you're seeing this on there. And then Homesick Philly Bros is on there. We're thinking about doing maybe another type of spin-off, maybe just about documentaries or shows or something like that.
Yeah, we're throwing some ideas around.
Yeah, if there's something you want to see besides me doing TikTok dances,
Just tell
let
your
us know.
friends about how embarrassing these guys are and how it's funny because it's kind of embarrassing. That's fine.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, I have stomach issues, and I hope those stories and my sleep apnea stories are not only educational, but maybe you can share it with a friend and make them feel a little better about themselves.
Yeah, and like we talked about on the first episode, go back and watch it because that's the pilot. That's the one. We're not talking shit on this podcast. This is all legitimate truth. Embarrassing, degrading. I'm an embarrassment. You smell like shit. It's all good. Just come on with
but
us.
I'll give you a little sneak peek. My next poop story is one for the books, so stay tuned. And you'll know we're not making this shit up when you hear this story, because you wouldn't want someone to know this if it didn't actually happen. But thank you for tuning in. I'm Gene Labordi.
I'm Stephen Labordi.
And
I said shut up. What did we talk about?
This is the UBI podcast. Come on back, kids.
You can end it. Bye.